Hello my dearest friends, welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a new book tag, one that I saw first on Jess from Peace Love Books channel. And I think that the original creator of this book tag is Hannah Blackwell. I'm going to link both of their videos in the description box if you want to check their videos out. And I'm also going to be linking the questions to this book tag in the description below if you're inclined to do a video of your own with these questions. And please do consider yourself tagged if you want to participate in this tag as well. I'm going to be answering all of these questions where I'm going to try to pick different kinds of books, though in some situations I don't think I have very many to pick from because I haven't read very many romantasy books. I think I can manage to do books that are different in each of the questions, but we're just going to wait out and see. I think there are about, 12 or 13 questions, if I'm not mistaken, 12 questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in and start with the first one, which is, what was your gateway romantasy book? Now, I had to think very much on this question because the first book that really got me hyped about romantasy books was From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. But then I had to think back on the first book that I actually read that I consider a romantasy, and that had to be Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is a young adult fantasy romantasy book, which was a book very popular like in 2017, 2018. It's a trilogy. I read all of the books and I really highly enjoyed all of them, but they didn't get me to want to read more of these kinds of books, if you get what I'm saying. So I read Caraval back in 2017, but then the moment that I really got my love ignited for this genre was in 2021 when I picked up From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The interesting thing about that series is that I was obsessed with books 1 through 3. But then the problem was that all those 3 books had released and I read them back to back. And then by the time that the next book came out, a lot of time had passed. And then the prequel series came out where I read the first book off of that book series, so the spin-off series, and I liked that one, but then things started to get confusing for me, and because the release of each of these books took a year, I just kind of left it for where I was. I didn't really continue on with that series, so it did get me intrigued about the genre, but it isn't my favorite series so far. Question number 2 is, what is the longest romantasy book that you've ever read? Now, I had to look through the books that I've read, and I think the longest one that I've read is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, which is 757 pages. I was thinking that it's going to be When the Moon Hatched, because that one has about 720 or so pages, but A Court of Silver Flames beats that one with 757, and there's quite a lot of long romantasy books, but yeah, I'm not too intimidated if it's by an author that I've known to enjoy. If it's a new to me author, I am a bit hesitant, but typically I'm intrigued and I want to pick them up. The next question is an interesting one because it focuses on underrated romantasy books. So the question is, what is an underrated romantasy that you want more people to read? Here, I'm going to mention an actually really popular author, an author that everyone knows because she is a very prolific author who has been releasing books for very many years, and that is Karina Halley. But the thing is that I've noticed all of her romantasy books, they have about like 15,000, 17,000, 20,000 ratings on Goodreads. And for me, that is underrated when it comes to her books because she has so many books that are so well beloved within the romance community. Like, for example, A Ship of Bones and Teeth. I read that one and I really highly enjoyed it. It's like a romantasy that has some pirates and sirens and different kinds of creatures in the story, and I really, really highly enjoyed it. It's more on the darker side as well, so it's a bit different than what we would encounter in the typical like Sarah J. Maas and, you know, Jennifer L. Armentrout kinds of worlds. And she also has the Underworld God series, which is more of a mythological retelling, like a Norse mythology retelling. But then I would consider it romantasy because it does feature fantastical elements in it. So those two mentions are definitely underrated in my opinion. I think definitely that more people should pick them up. Question number 4 is, what is the longest romantasy series that you've ever read? Now, I haven't finished these long series, so I cannot yet vouch for me having read all of these, but we've got Throne of Glass. I'm at book 6 right now. And then Blood and Ash, for the From Blood and Ash series, I've read books 1 through 4, if I'm not mistaken. And then I read the first off of the spin-off series, but I still need to get caught up on all of the other books. So I'm not sure when that is going to happen, but I do plan eventually on finishing both of these. The next question is, what is a romantasy book that is definitely worth the hype? Now, I'm going to go with 3 books to answer this question because I definitely think that all 3 deserve the hype that they've gotten. First one being both books in the Crown of Nyaxia series by Carissa Broadbent. They blew up not last year, I think, but the year before. And I discovered Carissa Broadbent through her other series actually, but when I picked this one up and everyone was talking about The Serpent and the Wings of Night, I wanted to see what the hype was about, and I definitely enjoyed the heck out of these 2 books. And I definitely think they're worth the hype. And then the next one would be Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Now, Callie Hart is actually a contemporary romance author. This is her first kind of venturing out towards the romantasy genre, and I think she did a splendid job with Quicksilver. It was quite addicting, quite the right kind of formula for romantasy, because we've got the enemies to lovers vibe, we've got an interesting world, but with elements that we as a romantasy reader are kind of very familiar with, so we don't get to feel that we're out of the depth of the story, if you get what I mean. But it has some original aspects to it, so it doesn't feel like it's recycled other stories. So I felt like this was the right amount of everything in a book, and I highly enjoyed it. And then the third book would be Phantasma by Katie Smith. And Phantasma for me was worth the hype because of how atmospheric it felt, how much of the trials, they felt so familiar but different in certain ways. And also the chemistry between the hero and heroine was quite palpable for me. So I was kept on the edge of my seat because of the trials. At the same time, I was feeling the push and pull between the main characters. So I highly enjoyed this one as well, and is definitely worth the hype. The next one up is, what romantasy book has your favorite romance? I'm going to mention 2 series here, and both of them are by Carissa Broadbent. The first one being The War of Lost Hearts, where we've got Tizana and Max. In this one, I think that the gradual relationship building between them, first becoming friends, and they're like teacher, tutor, and then becoming lovers, really made the story so much richer when it comes to their relationship building. I found that the hero in this book was complementing the journey of the heroine so well without him being a prop, if you understand what I mean. So both of them really filled each other in different aspects of the plot and really were partners together throughout the whole journey. And I was swooning the whole time when it came to these 2. I highly enjoyed their romance. And then the second pair would be Rain and Araya from the Crown of Nyaxia series. They had more of a banter-filled relationship at the start in the first book. They were kind of partners in crime when it came to the trials that they needed to go through. We definitely felt the playful behavior of Rain was more so kind of born out of possible feelings that he was kind of getting for Araya, and Araya was more focused on the trials and what was happening with how she needed to survive everything, but at the same time seeing them kind of getting into that relationship space was so much fun. And I enjoyed their story so much after having gone through betrayal and through very many different things when it comes to the plot. I was just rooting for them to be together. And yeah, I was so satisfied by the end of this duology. I was just swooning over these two, so I highly enjoyed this one as well. The next question is, who is your all-time favorite Romantasy author? Now, if I have to go off of the series that I've finished, it's going to be Carissa Broadbent, because I highly enjoyed the Crown of Nyarxia series. I highly enjoyed the War of Lost Hearts series, and I'm planning on continuing on with, I have the novella Six Scorched Roses. I bought the audiobook through Audible for The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. I think the book that is a spin-off, or the third book within the Crown of Nyarxia series, that I'm going to read as well. And yeah, I do have to say that I have a very big place in my heart for the ACOTAR series, and I've been enjoying A Throne of Glass as well. So I do have to mention Sarah J. Maas here as well. I know that there's a lot of controversy surrounding this author, but still, having read the books that she has written, I definitely appreciate her craft, her mastery when it comes to building up this huge world that everybody who has read Romantasy and has loved Romantasy has grown to love. So yeah, these two are in my top spots. Question number 10 is, what is the last Romantasy book that you read? That is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. And unfortunately, I don't have very many raving words about this third book within the Empyrean series. I didn't enjoy this one, unfortunately. And yeah, I know that a lot of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and Onyx Storm lovers are over the moon with how the story is progressing. But for me, it was a bit of a disappointment. So I took a bit of a time off from Romantasy because I've been sick for the past couple of, let's say, for the last 2 weeks. And I've been reading more contemporary books because my brain cannot handle going into fantasy worlds at the moment. But I definitely plan on picking up some Romantasy books in the next couple of days, and I'm looking forward to find something to love after Onyx Storm. Question number 11 is, what are the top 3 Romantasy books that are on your TBR? Now, the first one is the Book of Azrael. I have the physical copy of it here, and I have the audiobook purchased through Audible. I definitely want to get to this one this month because it's Pharaoh Feb. I definitely want to get to a couple of Romantasy books that I have been putting off. So this is my top priority on my Romantasy TBR. And then I mentioned Six Scorched Roses and The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. So The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, I'm not sure I'm going to be picking up this month, but Six Scorched Roses, I can definitely do. I have the audiobook for that one as well. And then I definitely want to read at least the first book within the Kindred Curse saga by Penn Cole. So, or was it Spark of the Everflame? I think the first one is. I want to see how I'm going to like this one and see if I'm going to be continuing on with the series, because I do have a couple of credits through Audible that I can use on the next books if I like the first one, because I did get it with 1 credit. So we're going to wait out and see. The last question is possibly my favorite one, because it is, who are your favorite Romantasy content creators that you follow? So I mostly follow YouTubers, right? This is my preferred form of content following from my side. I do follow a couple of people on Bookstagram as well, but the major part of the recommendations that I get are from YouTube. And the people that I follow are Jess from Honest Fiction. I think that she is the biggest influence for me when it comes to Romantasy books. Whenever she does like my favorite Romantasies, or Romantasies that I'm obsessed with, or ones that you should pick up, or favorites of the year, I binge those videos. I take a notebook and I start to keep track of which books I haven't yet discovered, and then I put them on my TBR. And 9 out of 10 times she is spot on when it comes to the recommendations that she gives when it comes to Romantasy books. There are certain books that I haven't enjoyed, but that is like a personal preference, and more so books that she's recommending end up to be really hyped and highly beloved. So I definitely trust her judgment. And then we've got Rachel from Ravenhair Reader. So Rachel, I do get a couple of recommendations off of her as well, though I do have to say that her taste doesn't always align to mine, but I really highly enjoy the way that she reviews books, that she recommends books, and I follow her as well when it comes to romantasy books. And then we've got Jess and Tori. So Jess from Peace Love Books and Tori from Novel Life, they are besties, and they typically will recommend books to each other, and they both hype up quite similar books because they influence each other a lot. So I will follow them as well when it comes to romantasy books. And also April from Happily Ever April. I think that one of the people who influenced me to pick up Quicksilver, I think, was April. And then I've got a couple of other people like Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life and Jen from the Book Refuge. There's a lot of people that I follow. Whenever I see that they recommend something that is interesting to me, I think that I found my kinds of people who influence me with the way that they describe books. These are really the people that I will follow the most also. So honestly, each and every one of these ladies do a splendid job when it comes to their recommendations. So I'm going to link their channels down below for you to follow them if you don't already. And I definitely think that they're a credit to the romance community because they do such a good job of hyping up books that are worth the hype. So you should definitely give them a follow if you haven't already. So these were the questions within the Romantasy book tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what your favorite romantasies are. Do our tastes align? Do you have books on your favorites list that align to mine? Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye-bye.